I sometimes I'm a critic of certain establishments, whether it's religion, whether it's just name it. When mediocrity begins to creep into setups, where and you find that a lot in even like we've been talking about Nigeria, you find mediocrity playing a huge role in virtually every aspect of nationhood in Nigeria, for instance. And I find this conversation relevant because if you have a growth mindset, you will definitely not be a mediocre, regardless of where you find yourself. In
No.
fact, those who you serve, those who follow you, or those who you serve, expect a lot from themselves, expect to see themselves at a higher level, which means or automatically means that yourself or as the leader, you then have to grow. So there is no room for mediocrity.
No.
But mediocrity is often something that you find play itself out there because people do not generally have this value add mindset. You know,
I mean, I can definitely see that growth mindset or value added mindset and mediocrity are quite, they're antonyms. They don't meet at any point. You know, I know that sometimes people get to that point of complacency. It
yeah,
could be because of the environment. It could be because they are reacting to their environment rather than responding to their own inner values, their own vision and all of that, responding to that, they're reacting to what the environment has placed on them. But mediocrity itself is a mindset.
yeah, yeah,
Mediocrity itself, it's a mindset.
yes,
It's it's just a settler mentality. You know, there's nothing I can do. I'll just do. I mean, that's what it comes across. I'll do my barest minimum. You know, there's something about going over and beyond, right? Um, it's called an organizational citizenship behavior. When you go over and beyond the call of duty in organizations, you can't have that with a mediocre because mediocrity is averageness.
yeah.
It's just there. I'm not down and I'm not up.
Yeah.
I'm just as what's just
I'm just
average.
there. I'm just there. I'm just working every day.
Yes, I just go and I just come. I just go and I just come. And the thing there is that, of course, there is a reduced quality of life there because I always think we spend so many hours of our days, our lives at work. When we now exhibit or demonstrate mediocrity, why? Why? What kind of injustice is that to myself? Because every human being has been born with potentials at varying degrees, you know. And so when I wonder, for me, it's such a disservice to myself. It's a disservice to my lineage because I want to set the pace for them. I want them to stand on my shoulder. So my shoulder, where my shoulder would be their starting point, or where I stopped, where I did so much to strive and I stopped will be their starting point, right? So if that is my thinking, then then that means that mediocrity is doing myself a disservice,
Yeah.
my community a disservice, my lineage a disservice. So it's all around disservice. But it starts from me. It's me first. So because how much more can I be? Not just do, how much more can I be and how much value can I add to myself and in turn other people because of me seeing how far I can go and going after it. But having said that, it's not everybody that will think that way, and that's fine. It's not everybody that, and that is why some organizations will not be for some people, you know, some organizations in general, let me put it that way, will
Yeah.
not be for some, you know, just won't, you just won't find yourself in there
No
because you
matter
find out
what, yeah, you just don't
yeah,
fit.
it's too much for you. You say, this place is too much for me.
Mm.
That's what you hear people say, right? It's like if you have a go-getter with that's coupled with somebody that is just you find out that they'll be like this, and eventually it's possible that they break up because one will say, you are not enough for me. Another person say, you are too much for me. So there's a, what you call an unequal yoke there, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you talking about relationship? You're saying it also plays out in relationships as well.
It plays out in everywhere, and that is why we should seek we should seek compatibility. You see, it depends, right? And I don't want to go into relationship, but I'm just saying it's a principle there. There's
Yes.
a principle there in terms of, when there is, I mean, you don't have to be at a certain point, right? But when it's a mindset,
Mm.
it's not about just the action. It's about a way of thinking,
Yeah.
which leads to a way of being. So if there's somebody that has a particular mindset, another person that has a different mindset, it's, there will be clashes, because it's not just about what they do. It's about how they think.
Now, I
So
think I do
and
think.
you think in your heart, so it
So,
plays out for you.
yeah, I forgot you're a pastor, so let me.
No, this is not about
Pastor.
these are principles that are not even, they cut across. They're
Talking about relationship itself, it does play out. That principle is very, 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 very relevant in relationships because if because of the dynamics that would play out in relationships, say marriage, for instance, it could have a tendency of pulling you up or bringing you down, and it's not a contractual environment where you could say, "I resign." You can't resign. You can't
mm,
resign. So I do think it's relevant, whether it's in relationships and in
very
actually
it plays
every aspect of life. Yeah. As we begin to
out.
wind down, I thought we are going to spend 1 hour. We're in our second hour. Somebody who's watching this podcast and asking themselves, where was I last year? Am I in the same place? And they begin to see a variance. Maybe last year they were in a better place, and
Mm,
this
mm,
year they've
mm.
remained or they've declined. I think this
Yes.
is this is one time where you really begin to do what I call a self audit. But
Mm,
somebody who's watching and saying, okay, how do I get going? How do I develop this mindset? How do I take advantage of what I don't have instead, depending where I come from, or what I
yeah.
do have? How do just give us a step-by-step guide on how to develop this mindset in
Yeah.
respect to growth.
Okay. So let me just do a quick one with the one you mentioned about, if a person had been growing and they're kind of like in a place of stagnancy, or they're even retrogressing. The- There are different reasons for that. But I'd like to say this, that sometimes it's okay to be there, not to retrogress, but to in the point where, not stagnate as well, but in a point where you say, for so many things going on in my life, I need to take care of some things first going on inside me,
Mm.
right? I need to focus on other areas of my life as opposed to moving.
Yes.
I want to stay at this point, and that's perfectly fine, because a really um, an emotionally aware person, somebody who has a high level of self-awareness, would know the reason why they are where they are at that point in time, and whether it's right to just stay put
Yes.
and take care of some really pressing things that might be going on inside them or around them or whatever, or to look for ways to move forward. So
Mm.
there might be other reasons for that, because sometimes for go-getters, highly driven people, they sometimes run themselves down to the ground, because they're kind of always, seeking what's the next challenge, what's the next
But
challenge. So we need to,
they
yeah,
grind themselves.
yeah, they're on the certain ground. And it's very important to sound out this caveat that, you also, in seeking for that and doing this, I'm really highly driven, all that, you need to take care of yourself.
Mm.
You need to self-care, and you need to know when to also say, oh, this is a moment for me to stop and reflect. Because reflection then does not mean that, it means that you are at a point where you're saying, okay, am I okay for the new direction,
Yeah.
or I'm going same direction? So it's also part of a growth mindset to know when to stop, take a step back maybe, but do what you just said, not just a self-audit, but yeah, a self-evaluation. Why am I going where I'm going? Is it all about going forward, or there's something else there for me, or I need to look at different direction. Different questions pop up, but I think it's important for us to sound that out, that it's not just about moving, but sometimes you need to stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes stop and self-care. You need to stop and self-evaluate. You need to stop and say, is this for me? What am I going the path of success? Because relative success is very personal. So am I going the path that I set out? So you need to do some kind of evaluation at that point. Yeah. So now back to mindset. See, a mindset is not about I don't think about a step-by-step thing, because first you have to know that that's the kind of person you are, that's the kind of mindset you carry, right? And you have to know why you should even try to imbibe a different mindset, why you should shift your paradigm, because the why is very important. You cannot just come to a person and say, you need to be whatever, you need to be whatever. They have to understand why they need to be shifting from a fixed mindset that says, look, enough, this is enough for me. I don't want to do this. All I want is this, right? And the growth for them is like, failure for them is like, you know, it brings shivers, and they don't want to fail in anything. And so success becomes limited then. It's important for you to first to know, why do I need to even embrace a different mindset? Why is this mindset wrong? Because you have to really tell people why it's wrong. Why are you saying that they should embrace something else, when they have been like this all the while? So it's in supporting people into developing a mindset that is different, you have to be able to tell them, or help them find out, not tell them, but help them find out the reason why it should be different, and what the possibilities are, what the potentials are, what is possible to gain from that. So that is, I think, really, really important. And then you talked about, self-evaluation. But before that, I'll take it back now to, being focused on where one wants to go. Where do I want, what is success for me? That's, I suppose that's what the question I should ask. We need to define what success is. Because at the end of the day, success is what a lot of people are looking for, right? And that's why they talk about, value added and all of that. They want to be able to give more. And so for them, it will be success. But you have to be clear, what is success? Because what is success for you, Michael, is different from what is success for me, right? And so in determining that, you're able to know what kind of direction you should go, how that mindset will play out for you. So defining what success is for you is critical. Next is also changing, and I'm not saying any particular order, right? Changing the kind of people you surround yourself with. I say, the kind of people you surround yourself with will really determine how far you go and the kind of way you think, right? Are you with me, Michael? Am I making sense to you? So how are the people that surround you? Who are the people that are within, that in a concentric circle? Who are the people that are in that center with you? That your close circle of influence. Who are they? What kind of mindset do they have? How are things playing out for them? So if you know that you want to embrace a new paradigm, you want to shift in your paradigm, you have to shift the kind of people that are close to you. You can't have the same kind of people, right, that has been doing the same thing and getting the same result all the time, and yet you want to get a different result. So you need to change your associations, right? That doesn't mean you make enemies or all that. It just means that you need to be really strategic about those that are close to you, right? And another thing is, you have to focus on intentionality. How intentional should you be? How focused should you be? What are the plans you need to put together so that things begin to play out? Because you can't say that you want to have a value add mindset if things are done anyhow. Because a mindset is a way of thinking. Michael, you tell me, how do we shift the way we are thinking about something? You have to expose yourself to other things that are different from what you're exposing yourself to in the first place. So I need to find out what are the things what has shaped my thinking in this way, right? So if you go to America, for example, all of the things that are played out for Black people in America, what will be the verdict? America is a racist country. That's what will be the verdict of Black Americans. They're anti-Black. Black man is an enemy, or the white man's an enemy of the Black man, and all of that. Because of their experiences, because of what has taken place, it has shaped the thinking of the next generation. No, if you want now to change a people's paradigm, they have to be exposed to something that is different from what they have been habitually exposed to. Right? So that is a critical way. So first of all, you have to evaluate, how did I come here? How did I get here in terms of the way I'm thinking? How did I get here? So in determining how did I get here? Okay, what do I need around me? What kind of resources do I need? What kind of friends do I need? What kind of knowledge do I need to be able to transition or shift to another kind of thinking? So exposing yourself now, or rather removing yourself from where you have been, that has shaped your thinking or your life and made you who you are, formed your mindset, your way of thinking, to a new one. And that is where you have to unlearn, you have to relearn. Yeah. So there's a lot of unlearning that has to take place, and then a deliberate and sustained attempt at relearning. And that will be continuous. Right. So from a new mindset that you are imbibing, for a paradigm that is shifting, now comes, a new way of behaving. So the new way of behaving then would help us now begin to, do the right things that are in line with the new way of thinking. And so from knowing, which is where you shift from one paradigm to another, from the knowing comes the doing. From the doing then comes the being, because you begin to have consistent behavior along a new paradigm. Right? And then there you go. Because it's a consistent behavior. Consistent behavior is born out of habit, isn't it? And habit is formed from thinking that has been ingrained in our subconscious.
Yeah.
And it does take time. It does take time. So
Where
I
does
hope I've answered your
mentorship?
question. So
Yeah, no, you have. Where does
yeah,
mentorship
that is why I talk about,
all of this?
yes. Where does mentorship come? And that's why I talk about your associations.
Okay.
Right? That's why I talk about your associations. The people
Yes.
that are close to you must change. You can't have a mentor, right, who is forever touting something, this particular thing, and then you want to keep that person when you want to shift your base. It has to go. So everything around you that has informed how you are, sometimes even your environment has to change.
Yeah, I guess that's why many of us left. Many of us left.
But having said that, yes, many of you left, but I can tell you for free that you could leave a particular geographical location
But nothing changes.
and nothing changes, because it's a deliberate action.
True. True.
And it comes from a high level of self-awareness. First, it comes from the why. Why should I make that change? What's going to be different for me? Right? What is success for me? And how does my mindset play a role in that? So you have to, then you do the self-evaluation. Why am I here? How did I get here? How did my environment, my company, mentorship, the sponsor, everything around me, how did they play a part in how I got here? Now, how do I go from here to there? And going from here to there, and all the things I said, So the fact that you leave a particular country, yes, you might have to leave a particular environment, right? For you, but the living is not just the physical.
Yeah.
The living is the mental.
I hear you. I hear you.
Right?
I hear you.
It's the mental living, it's the psychological cutting of the umbilical cord between you and what ties you to old environment
In other
and the
words,
old people.
breaking free from your village people. It's called village people. you break people. You know, um, yeah. Hey, it's we've. While you're speaking, I'm also reflecting and asking myself the same question. I also had to change environment. I had to change mindset. I had to change a whole lot of things because I felt I had a whole lot more. But firstly, the environment that I found myself, that I grew up in, could not give me anything. So when I had the opportunity, I took it. But I also hear where you say changing your geographical location is not everything. You could,
No,
change that and nothing still change. And you see it. You see, I'm
I've
sure.
seen many people,
Hmm,
many people
true.
who've changed. I mean, I mean, talk about, you see people go to school, but they come out still as illiterates.
Yeah. They come out worse
As
illiterate. I mean, the worst kind of illiterate is the one that thinks they know.
I even went to.
That I went to school, I think they know. And yeah, so we could never overexpand this mindset. I strongly believe that if we're going to see the change that we require as a people, as a nation, as a community, that it starts from the mindset. And you've alluded to that fact from the very first second. We, however, have people that have not appreciated the fact that they need to do that homework of asking themselves, like you said, the why. Why should I change? Another thing I'm taking away is the fact that it's an investment, it's not a
Mm,
cost. Whether
mm-mm.
you choose to read a book, whether you choose to listen to this podcast, whether you choose to follow people who are far ahead and learn how they did it, it is all an investment. And at the end of the day,
Yes.
there is an ROI, definitely.
And can I say that
Yes.
investments, absolutely. And Michael, investments are not things that you do without intentionality,
Yes.
right? Investments are things that you do with a focused mindset, with intentions. You know, it has to be deliberate.
Mm.
Investments are deliberate. So there are things that you go to. They don't necessarily come to you. You have to make that effort yourself
Mm.
because they take from you, But yeah,
Yes.
it's
I mean, it
really,
must cost you, if you're going to break free from that cycle, it must cost you something.
oh yes,
It
it
must cost
definitely
you something.
it will cost you. It will cost you the people that you're familiar with sometimes. It will
True.
cost you friends. It will cost you associations. It will cost you some benefits that you've
Mm.
been accustomed to.
Yes.
So that's where there's no pain, no gain
Mm.
comes
Mm.
in.
Can't eat
You
your cake and have it.
Yeah, you can't it's be painful.
Yeah.
Be painful.
All right.
You
I'm
just,
going to give you,
and that is why we talked about, breaking away from the comfort zone to the courageous zone. It's a zone of courage. You can't just
comfort to
zone of courage.
courageous.
Yes, it takes a lot of courage. I mean, think about somebody at 50 that is relocating to a different country
Mm.
at 50, 55, 60. That is a lot of courage.
Yeah.
That takes a real departure from comfort zone. But it's a growth mindset. It's a value add mindset where they say, look, I want to do something, meaningful for myself. I've been long going around in circles. Now it's time for me to move forward.
I
So
refuse to remain in one place.
yes.
I refuse.
So
I'm going to give
and
you 2 minutes.
and that is a position in which they are, they have done a lot of research. They are very intentional, they're very deliberate, and they're really focused.
Cool. Toluwani, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to round up this session, just to give some people that will be watching it something to take away from our 90 minutes of discussion.
90 minutes, wow.
Yeah, time flies.
Time does fly, especially when you're having fun.
True.
Yes, what I would say is this, um, never think that where you are is the best place that you could ever be.
Mm.
Never. It's that's I think that would be it's what we have been talking about, fixed mindset. Never think that where you are right now is the place of arrival, the
Yeah.
best I can ever do for myself or
Your
for my family.
destination. Your destination.
The destination, thank you. It's not a destination. It's You are constantly on a journey. In fact, till you leave the earth, you're on a journey. You're a journey of, did I say lifelong learning?
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong learning. And I'm not just talking about school,
Yeah.
about every area of life. And so it requires open-mindedness to be able to say to yourself, I don't know everything. In fact, I don't know enough.
Mm.
Let me go after knowledge. Let me go after wisdom. Let me go after things that can add so much value to me that I can add value to others. So where you are is not a destination. You're still on a journey, but all of it has to do with your mindset.
Yeah.
It has to do with your way of thinking. So now is a time that, it's important to think about in which area should I shift my paradigm? In which areas should I become a new person, as it were? So,
Great, great. Thank you very much, Toluwani. It's been an awesome pleasure having you on this session. It's
thank
been
you.
90 minutes. I thought we were only going to spend 60 minutes, but like you said, time flies when you are learning, when you are getting blessed with immense information. So I want to thank you once more. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Thank you for the contents that you've given to us. I'm sure the viewers that will have access to this information would definitely have some kind of feedback. So what I'll do is I'll get your information online as well, and I'll post it alongside this material. If they have if there's any questions, any contributions, any input, they can always send it through. And I'm sure you'll be more than willing to get back to us and continuously remain a blessing and adding value to our lives.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you,
Bye.
Tolu. And that brings
Bye.
us to the end of this session of Vision Drivers. We've titled it, Why Do You Deserve a Promotion? Everybody deserves a promotion. You do, I do, everyone around you. But the question is, have you done your homework? Have you added enough value to yourself, so much so that we would want to get you on board? Have you added enough value that people would want to rally around you and make you a part of their vision? All right. So please look out for this podcast. It will be out by tomorrow, and look out for our next edition. Without saying too much, my name is Michael Amakai Juma. Have yourself a great Saturday evening and a better week ahead. Good night.